Hi everyone, this is your boy Manny Brown, and I just want to share something briefly with you today. It's just a short story about my life, and I hope it inspires you. So when I was young, when I was about 12, I was seriously ill, and my parents took me to the hospital so many times, and each time we go, they kept giving us the same story, that there was nothing wrong with me. But I come home, and all through the night, I wouldn't be able to sleep. I'll just be laying down, looking up in the sky and just counting the ceiling all through the night. And I remember my mother would be sleeping next to me and just be praying the whole night. She'd just be praying. Thank God for a praying mother, because trust me, it's her prayers that protected us, that made us who we are today. Thank God for a praying mother, and I pray God richly blesses her. And I remember seriously ill. I was throwing up everywhere, and my dad decided to take me to the hospital. So we came outside of the house, and I just couldn't stand, so I was rocking back and forth, and we were waiting for a taxi to come so we can go to the hospital. But I couldn't stand, so they had to bring me a chair to sit down. And the last thing I remembered was a taxi pulling over. The next thing I remember was I was on a hospital bed, and my dad was standing next to me, holding my hands and crying. So I asked him, why is he crying? And he said, you passed out. And you kept saying, when we got to the hospital, you kept saying, am I leaving you, Dad? Am I leaving you? God bless us all. Am I leaving you? And he said, you're not leaving me today. Not today, you're not. God is with you. So the doctors did all their checks, and they came back the same thing, that there is nothing wrong with you, so you can go home. But deep down, I knew I wasn't right. There was something wrong. So one day I was laying down with my mother, and as usual, I was counting the ceiling, and I suddenly heard a voice saying, ask your mother to read 1 Corinthians chapter 1 verse 27 going. So I just asked my mother, where's your Bible? And she said, it's here. And I was like, read 1 Corinthians 1 27 going. So she quickly opened her Bible, and these are the words. But God has selected for his purpose the foolish things of the world to shame the wise, revealing their ignorance. And God has selected for his purpose the weak things of the world to shame the things which are strong. God has selected for his purpose the insignificant things of the world, and the things that are despised and treated with contempt, the things that are nothing, so that he might reduce to nothing the things that are, so that no one may be able to boast in the presence of God. Just after she read that to me, the sickness went away. The sickness just left. So till today, even if I'm going through something and I'm talking to my mother, the first thing she would say is, do not forget the verse God gave you. And all of a sudden I become okay. See, there are times in our lives where we think that the people around us, or the people who are meant to be helping us, they are the ones that are supposed to do that. But trust me, it's not everyone around you that you think is your helper is actually your helper. God is a jealous God. He doesn't share his glory with no one. So sometimes when you are there and you're not getting any help from anyone, just know that God is about to do something. Because the people around you that you think are your helpers, if they help you, they take all the glory from God. So they stand in place of God because they do things to favor them. They do things to make them look good, but not because God has actually appointed them to be your helper. When we're going back and forth in the hospital, the doctors could have found what was actually wrong with me. But after going back and forth, if someone just popped up one day and said, "Oh, I know what's wrong with you," they have taken the glory from God. They are the ones that have saved the day. So after going through all that, God in his own time delivered me. So that no one can boast. No one can boast in front of him. Because he does things in his own time. If you're waiting on something, if you're praying to God for something, just wait on him in his own time. He will deliver you. Do not depend on anyone. Do not depend on any man. Because man will fail you. Always depend on God. I went through times when I was young and I was going through bullying and friends that you try to play with, they'll push you away just because there's some things about you that they feel, it doesn't conform with them, so they push you away. But in God's own time, he makes you beautiful. In his own time, he makes you be on top. So when I was going through all of that, in God's own time, he actually delivered me and gave me a story to tell. And mind you, this went on for about 3 months, no school. And I remember when I returned back to school, my teacher actually sent me home that day, saying she doesn't think I'm fully fit to come back. So she actually wanted to send me home. But then I told her there's no one at home. I can't go back home. So she has to allow me to stay. So she actually allowed me, but I had to stay home for another week for me to be fully fit before I can come back, because I had to stay home for 3 solid months. So do not lose hope when you think there is no one around you to help you. God is there to help you. Do not depend on anyone, because man will help you and boast that they were the ones that made you. So just wait on God for God to do what he wants to do with you in his own time. Do not wait on man. Do not depend on man, because man will fail you. But rather, wait on God, so no one can boast in front of him. Remember, God shares his glory with no one. So give God the chance to do what he wants to do in your life. And if you're a mother listening to me, please pray. If you're a father, pray. Pray for your children. Pray for your family. Because I was lucky enough to have a praying family, a praying mother, praying father. My mother will pray from morning till evening. Until today, she still prays every single day, praying for her children. So it's her prayers that has made us, myself and my siblings, it's her prayers that has made us who we are today. Because I remember at the age of 16, my mother was letting me pray about my marriage. She made me do serious fast about my marriage. And it's only a praying mother who has a vision like that, who God speaks to, that can get you to do something like that. So please, if you're listening to me, please pray for your family. Always be prayerful, because it's the prayers that will always carry you. And always depend on God. Do not depend on man. From today onwards, always anything on your heart, always depend on God. Because God chooses the things that are despised and the things that the world thinks it's, it's foolish. Those are the things that God picks for himself, just to reveal their ignorance. Because God calling you is not about who you are, it's not about your race, it's not about what you have, how intelligent you think you are. Those are the world's standard. But before God, he checks your heart and he picks for his glory. So I just came through today just to let you know, depend on God. No matter what you're going through, in his own time, he will make everything beautiful and he will deliver you. Just as I was delivered, he chose me, so no one can boast in front of him. And all through my life, everything that happens in my life, he doesn't allow anyone to do anything so they boast in front of him. So I just came through to inspire you today that it is not over. God is still with you. He's always with you and he'll deliver you. Just depend on him. Just believe in him and he will grant your heart desires. Take care and God richly bless you.